Welcome to more bite-sized therapy from the Big Book of Counselling Clichés. And today, practically perfect in every way. There are two types of perfectionists. Some people are driven to be perfect and nothing else will do. I'm not talking about people who are motivated or ambitious. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do our best or get ahead in life. I'm talking about people who are driven, compulsive, people who have to be perfect. If they're not perfect, they're a failure. The dark side to perfectionism is people whose internal yardstick is set so high that they know they'll never reach it. These are the people who live day in and day out with that little voice inside telling them they're a failure, they're useless, what's the point of even trying? These are the people who don't look like perfectionists on the outside because they're demotivated and depressed. They never even start anything because they know they'll never succeed, so why bother? But it's still perfectionism. In both cases, they're the victim of their own internal rules. We all have internal rules. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I have an internal rule that I must not walk down the high street and punch people I don't like. That's a good rule. It's kept me out of prison, and I'm too pretty to go to prison. So, how do we know when we've bumped up against our own internal rules? Because we start saying things like should, ought to, have to, must. And that's the problem. Rules are rigid and unbending, restrictive, inhibitive, prohibitive. And if you break the rules, you must be punished. It's so much better to think in terms of guidelines or principles. I would like to. It would be better if. I would prefer it if. Guidelines have bend in them and allow for how the world really is. Something like, I would like to be perfect, but I can accept the fact I'm not. Or I would prefer to get everything right first time, but I can accept the fact I don't. I would like to succeed at everything I do, but I can accept that failing is part of life. If we believe that deep down in our bones, wouldn't life be so much easier? More bite-sized therapy from the Big Book of Counselling Clichés.